Hi, and welcome to Real Talk for Coaches, the podcast where we explore the trends, techniques, and transformative power of coaching. I am your host, Dr. Dawn Reid, and joining me is my co-host, Coach Will, as we explore this episode that I'm really excited to explore with you. So on this week of Real Talk for Coaches, we dive deep into the dark side of motivation. Will and I will explore why it's essential to rethink hustle culture in coaching and help our clients as well as ourselves identify when overachieving leads to burnout and toxic behavior. I know that sounds so prescriptive, and it is prescriptive because I want to try to make sure I say the same thing because I'm one of those. I always tell people I need guardrails. I need guardrails because I'll just be saying anything and everything. Every episode, it'll be different. So, yes, y'all, I know I sound like a robot and I am reading from a script and I'm just going to be transparent about it because yours truly be saying anything and everything. Every call, you're like, what the hell is this about? So there
Mm,
you go. How have you been, good sir?
I've been good. I've been good. Fine. How are you? Living the dream.
Living a dream.
Living the dream.
Likewise. I'm living the
Ready to
dream.
enjoy some summer weather.
I know, right?
Hopefully take some trips. Hopefully,
Rah.
you
Trips.
know.
It's time.
Yeah.
Are you feeling like that itch, that bug to go be somewhere on somebody's beach or island or something?
Some sand in between my toes and an umbrella
Yes.
drink with a
Yes.
lot of alcohol in it
A lot.
and a splash of fruit juice or
Just a
something.
splash.
Yes.
Splash.
I mean, yeah. If that's what you're asking, yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Indubitably. Yes.
Yes,
No,
exactly.
you and me both. And I don't want to give too much away yet. So I admonish people to make sure you subscribe, tune in, keep watching, because I do have some big news coming, huge news coming. That ties into that journey of being somewhere else, doing something else. So please stay tuned for that announcement. But yes, my dear, I'm ready to sip on something and lay somewhere under somebody's sky. Yeah, it's time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but that actually is a good segue to this conversation because we're going to talk a little bit about the dark side of motivation and, in particular, hustle culture. And I do want to distinguish hustle culture between gig culture or gig economy because I don't want people to think that when I say hustle, I'm talking
Right.
about, getting a gig and stuff like that. It really is about the energy. Think the energy behind the hustle is really where the focus is, and how this can sometimes be a negative, even in the coaching space. So that's what we're going to be talking about today.
All right, cool. So, like for as you were about to go into it a little bit, so can you define hustle culture a little bit more? For
Absolutely.
those who may not have a clear understanding of what it is, or may have a misunderstanding of what it is.
Good. Yes, and thank you yes, I will absolutely do that. And I'm laughing because you and I both are stumbling over the word hustle. I don't know why.
Yeah, yeah.
I know I have a list. I have a list. I had like over 5 years of speech therapy. So I'm sitting here working real hard
Yeah, yeah,
cognitively,
exactly.
like
I'm keep
hustle
getting ready to say coastal culture.
culture.
Yeah.
So if we sound a little bit off in our pronunciation, just know y'all know what we're talking about. Okay,
Mhm.
anyway. So what is exactly hustle culture? As I said earlier, it really is about your motivation and your mindset. It is the energy behind the doing, the activities of achieving, of moving forward. It's really your ambition and the drive and activities that you decide to do in order to achieve your goals.
Mm-hmm.
And in particular, when you talk about it from the lens of coaching, it really is part of that positive psychology genre, if you will, where helping you really move forward and helping you do the work and push past your fears and pushing past um overwhelm and all that good stuff that we talk about in coaching. So it really is the energy that leads to the actions that make what you're doing that hustle, right? That I'm a hustle. I'm a hustle my ass, right? To get
All
this
right.
work done to be where I want to be. Opposed to gig culture. Because sometimes we use the word hustle in exchange for gig. So
Mm-hmm.
hustle in this particular sense is more of a noun. It's a thing. Whereas I'm going to be, and you're going to be, we're going to be talking about hustle from a verb perspective, the action, the
Okay.
energy, right? So I wanted to be very clear. Hustle as a verb, not hustle as a noun.
Okay. Okay. And I remember at the beginning of, when you're doing your intro, one of the things you're saying that it could lead to burnout and things of that nature. So basically, to clarify it a little bit more, it sounds like we're talking whereas people feel like they have to keep going to get something done
Yes.
versus being able to say, okay, you know what? I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, and then I'm going to take a break.
Yes.
They may feel like I have to do X, Y, and Z, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Oh, I'm not there yet. Okay, H, I, J. Like, so it's more of you feel like you have to keep going to get something accomplished when you may not have to if you just bide your time.
Exactly. Exactly. And and it it's this mindset too of I gotta work harder.
Mhm.
I didn't accomplish this goal, so I'm not working hard enough. I gotta work even harder. I gotta put in more hours. I gotta do more stuff. And it's just this constant go, 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 go without taking a break, without stopping to assess and check in with where you are on the journey. Um, Stopping to reward yourself or appreciate what you've accomplished and achieved so far. But because we didn't achieve what we believe is the thing or the goal, we got to keep going. And people won't rest or stop until that specific goal, the big goal, is completed. Yes.
Now, do you see a hustle culture in a certain thing where there may not be a particular goal? It's just a constant. I'm going somewhere with this, and I'll give you the example when I finish, but there's just a constant hustle because of the position a person is in. And they may feel like they can't stop their hustle because of that.
Yes. Actually, I totally get where you're going with that, I think. And if I'm not, you just tell me, you check me.
Okay.
I see this a lot with when I'm coaching single moms
Hmm.
and single moms who are very ambitious.
Right.
So like I have a lot of clients who are going on maternity leave and they're like, I'm gonna, get on a meeting and try to work, 2 weeks after the baby. And I'm like, you just passed a human being from your body.
Hmm.
You're not even healed. I'm not going to give too much information, but it's like
Yeah,
your body ain't stopped doing what it's doing just by
yeah,
passing a person out of you. And you already talking about getting on a meeting and being part of a project, but you're supposed to be on maternity leave. And like that is hustle. Like I got to keep going because
right.
I'm afraid it's going to impact my promotion. I'm so new, I'm afraid I'm going to get fired because I just had a baby or I got pregnant unexpectedly and I just got this new job. So, like, to your point, yes, the client or the person may have in their mind, there is a goal, and usually the goal is around, I want to be in a certain position in 2 years. I want to accomplish X, Y, and Z in 5 years. And so they may have a goal, but sometimes the goal may not be realistic and they're not working with their body. They're not working with their mind. They're not aligning with their values and they're underestimating the work that it needs, that if you don't replenish yourself or take time to kind of chill a little bit while you're on the journey,
Mm.
that it could be detrimental. So yes, there are people who don't have a clear goal or the goal has changed and they didn't realize it and they're still trying to hustle like they typically would and they haven't pivoted to match the current situation.
Okay. So I know you do some corporate coaching.
Yes.
And the reason why I asked, like the last question before, because I work in a high demand um, job, and one of the things I noticed was my new director. Um, I'm on the East Coast, he's on the West Coast, and when I had to set up a meeting with him, and I always keep that in mind as far as people's
Time
time
zone,
zone,
yeah,
time zone.
absolutely.
And his words to me when I set up the meeting was like, "Oh, if you want to set it up for 9:30, 9 or 9:30 your time, that's good. That's
Mm.
6 o'clock in the morning." And he's like, "Yeah, yeah, I'm up and I'm working and this, that, and third." And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, "You're up and working at 6 a.m. in the morning?" Like, but I do know this same person in thinking about what you said, but with toxic and burnout, I do know this same person had health issues and had to leave the job one day. And
Mm.
in my mind, I'm like, what was it because of being overworked or overworking yourself? Like nobody, well, I don't think anybody said he had to be on at 6 in the morning, 6 in the morning. But when you coach your executive clients, do you find that they are, I have to do this, I have to do that because of whatever reason, you know? Um, do you find that in your practice?
Absolutely. I coach a lot of executive and senior leaders. The very same thing that you said. I've had clients where they're up, like you said, at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning and they're taking meetings. And then around 10 o'clock, they got to jump on a flight. And then they get to where they're going and they got another meeting. And then now you got jet lag and you still trying to operate and function with all of these different changes. And you might do that a couple of days out the week. And
Mhm.
then they come to me like, I'm burnt out. I can't think straight. I'm dropping the ball. And yes, and this is what I'm talking about, the dark side of motivation, that
Right.
hustle culture, because people feel like this is what I got to do in order to move forward and achieve goals. And I'm gonna challenge that. I'm like, if you want to do it and you feel like it's gonna help you, if it's very temporary, because I'm all about there are certain temporary sacrifices, right?
Mhm.
But to your point, I've seen executives do this for years, not 3 months because there was a special project, not 2 months because there was a opportunity and I want to get that promotion. Years. And then they have cancer or they have some type of immune disorder, or they keep getting sick, or they got migraines, or they got too much weight, or they got high blood pressure, or they got cholesterol. Like all of these things start to become a factor, and they're like, I don't know why.
Right. Right.
Right.
Right.
So, yes, I absolutely see it, and I absolutely coach around it. And this is that dark side because I've also seen, and I'm against it, I also seen where the organization might want to push you to do that. And this is where I partner with my client to say, what's important to you?
Mm-hmm.
What's really important to you? And is it worth it? How worth it? What's the value of doing this?
Right. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And one of the things I'm looking at, and I know, and that plays into one of the things that we have in our notes where they said Elon Musk said, um, of all
Of all people,
of all the people to quote, said no one ever changed the world on 40 hours a week. You know, um, I challenge that because I feel like my clients are very happy with my, but
facts.
yeah, but it's like not to
See,
say that
mm-hmm,
my director got that from there, but I think it's the nature of a lot of people
mm-hmm,
to, I'm going to keep doing this, you know, because this is what I know, or this is what it is, or this will make me look good. This will make me look better
mm-hmm.
if I do this. And, they could come to you and say, well, what if you don't? What's going to change if you don't do that?
That's one
What
of my coaching questions.
what
Yes.
is like,
What's going to change?
yeah, what is going to change if you don't do that? Is the sky going to stop being blue?
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
um, what exactly will change if you don't take this meeting at 6 a.m. in the morning and you take it at 9 a.m.? What's going to change? You know?
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, so go ahead.
I agree with that 1,000%. And I disagree with that statement also because people are changing the world and they don't necessarily have to work. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. I feel like personally I'm changing lives one at a time. And I
Mhm.
am changing how the world functions through the clients that I'm coaching with, right? Through the organizations that I coach with. So there is change happening. Um, and I damn sure don't work 40 hours a week. No, because
Okay.
I've learned how to work smarter because I realize that the hustle, not that I don't hustle, and I really do want to distinguish that there's a difference between I'm preparing for a major project and I might work 80 hours to make sure everything goes well. Or I might have a new client and I might work a little longer to make sure I set that client up. That's one thing. It's another thing when you do this on the regular, day in, day out, all day, every day, 365, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
And and that's where I challenge people. You do not have to do that. The second thing that I feel, especially in leadership coaching, executive coaching, the biggest mistakes that leaders make is that they don't delegate. They try to do everything themselves. And I'm like, this is where you tap into your talent and you look at people and you go, okay, who can I really leverage to
Mhm.
help execute? Right. And to your point, do I really need to be in this 6 o'clock in the morning, even though it's a time difference thing? Because I get that. But like, instead of me being on a 6 o'clock meeting every week, well, can I delegate my number two to be in a 6 o'clock meeting this week and I'll be in the 6 o'clock meeting next week? Like, it's about working smarter.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I'm with you. I do not agree with this mindset that you got to work 80 hours a week. You got a life, and the world will be okay, and the company will be okay if you work smarter, not harder.
Now, I'm going to ask you something based on something that you just said. Do you find that, for lack of a better word, that sometimes you may have to coach, I'm going to use this term, coach some people up and coach some people down, meaning, like you said, you have some executives that feel like they need to do everything themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, like again, that would be, for lack of a better word, that would be coaching somebody down. Like, hey,
Right.
you don't have to do everything. That's why you have people that you're in this role.
Mm-hmm.
So you're supposed to be doing the overview.
Mm-hmm.
And you may have to coach people up to say, hey, because I'm one of those people. I have been asked to take management roles before, and I said, I have had a tendency to look and say, I feel like managers know everything and I don't know everything. So I will not try to get into a management role because I don't feel like I know everything. And I've had many people, I think you included, have said to me, they don't know everything. They just know who to call. with,
Yes,
with,
absolutely. And I was about to say that again. I'm like, you know, a good manager does not know everything. You don't have to have the answer for everything. A good manager got good people around them. A good manager know who to call.
Mhm.
That you just need to know how to put things together. You have to connect the dots. You have to help bring the larger goals down to smaller bite-sized pieces, and then you have the right people execute. So to your point of asking about coaching people up, yes, the example you gave is about coaching someone up. I get that, but to the connection of hustle
Yeah, it's
and
not.
that lens, I I had this was a manager who'd been managing for over 20, 30 years, and they're like an SVP. And, and they were assigned coaching. They were made to get coaching, and I was their coach. And so the feedback through 360 and the feedback through their, like the executive, senior executive, top person, the
Mhm.
person that's right next to the CEO, their manager, their feedback was like, this person can be doing more. And a lot of their people, the direct reports, their feedback was the manager doesn't do enough. They give everything to everybody else, and they kind of do nothing. They kind of sit on their morals and, laurels and all that good stuff. And so that was a coaching up opportunity where really exploring what that person understood a leader's role to be
Mhm.
and how they were effectively leading their team, where they weren't, what they thought their strengths were, yada, yada, yada. And so that was an opportunity where coaching them up to optimize their full leadership potential. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. So, like, culturally,
Mm-hmm.
do you see where uh, different cultures handle hustle culture differently?
I do. And that's interesting, right? And again, I'm telling this from my personal experience with my particular demographics and my particular clients. This is not a generalization for everyone. Everybody is different, so I don't want nobody to come after me in the comments. So this is not a stereotype. This is the
Mhm.
experiences that I've seen or lived within my little small section of the world. So, what I've noticed, the Black and African culture, Caribbean culture, the Asian culture, I would say white ethnic groups like Italians, Irish, Polish, right? Hispanic, Spanish groups. I noticed that there's the mentality of I'll sleep when I'm dead. I'll work 5 jobs. I'll work around the clock. I'll get up at 6 o'clock to attend a meeting. I'll go to bed at 1 o'clock in the morning because I got to get work done. I'll do it all myself and I won't delegate it out. I also noticed this with people who may have come from a lower social economic status. Maybe they grew up poor. Maybe they grew up in a blue collar working class and they may be the first generation in their family to reach a white collar job or a management
Right.
job. I find that those individuals have a more, I'm going to work harder and harder because there's this need to prove that you're not lazy. And
Yeah.
there's this need to prove that you can do it and that you're strong and that to take a break means you're weak and to not power through it means you're weak. And so they battle that belief around having to achieve goals.
Yeah, it's a constant hustle, and if they don't feel like they will achieve success without this constant hustle.
Yes. So I do see that culturally.
Mm.
I also see it gender based, and I see more women have more of a hustle culture
Hmm.
than men in my practice.
But I think I see that. I think I see it, and again, like you said, this is what we see. We're not saying this is the end all to be all. This is
Exactly.
not, oh, Coach Will said X, Y, and Z. Let's
Exactly.
get the pitchforks.
Exactly.
This is not that. What I what I what I see is for hustle culture, I feel as though not that men don't do it, but I feel uh, men don't talk about it as much.
That's true.
I feel that women will let you know this is a woman-owned business. This is a black woman-owned business. This is a minority business. This is this and the third. I have done X, Y, and Z. This is the hustle that they're going through into this culture. While as men will feel, well, I'm not going to say this because it's expected from me. You expect me to do this.
Mm-hmm.
You expect me to
Mm.
be this if I'm because of what society has said. I'm a man, so I have to hustle and I have to do X, Y, and Z because if I don't,
Mm.
you're going to look at me and say, what is this person doing? You know,
Mm.
um, have you had the chance to coach somebody who feels like they want to get out of that hustle culture or got, well, let's be more specific. Have you ever um, coached a man who says, who almost said, I don't want to be in this rat race. I want to slow down. How do I slow down?
Absolutely. I do coach men around that actually. I've had quite a few male clients, and it's usually those who have an entrepreneurial spirit. And I know this is going to be a contradiction because as an entrepreneur, there is some hustle. um, but I've coached men who felt like they've done all that they knew how to do and they feel overwhelmed and they feel tired. And to your point, they do bring up that very thing like, I feel guilty because I'm a man and I'm supposed to hustle. I'm a man. I'm supposed to be a provider. And, I got to make sure my family eat. I got to make sure my family got shelter. And I got to get out there and do whatever it takes to make sure that my family their needs are met, and I'm not a man if I'm not doing that. And you know, that could go into a whole conversation of masculinity and how we're teaching and training our men. Whole another conversation. Maybe we'll create a segment on that. But you know, it is really helping them understand two parts. How will getting out of the rat race change that mindset for them? Would that really translate into you don't have to hustle? And can they make different types of changes? Like, how are they thinking about their behaviors and their actions and what they're doing on a day-to-day basis? How are they aligning their values with their goals?
Right.
What do they believe about themselves and what it means to be a man? And how can they be a provider without having the toxic traits of motivation,
Right.
i.e.,
Right.
hustle culture?
Yeah, I was just about to ask you about how they can differentiate, you know, between healthy ambition and toxic productivity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, just the simple differentiation is if you're asking this question, you already started to differentiate it, right? But if you're burnt out,
Hmm.
if you're not getting joy, if you're all over the place, if you can't complete goals, if you can't accomplish the tasks that you set out to do, if your performance is decreasing, if you feel unfulfilled, all of those could be a sign and a trait that that hustle is not working. The way you're approaching the hustle is not working. And I always say, if it feels like you are spinning your wheels and you're not going anywhere, or you're running in place, you're not going anywhere,
Hmm.
and you keep doing it harder and harder and more, you're probably in the toxic area of motivation versus the productive area of motivation.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, that's a good analogy. That's a good analogy. It's like you're running a rat race. You're on that little treadmill.
Exactly.
All right. I think of one last thing that I wanted to bring up. Privilege. Privilege in hustle culture.
Mm,
So, some people can afford not to, you know. Um, when you say this, some people can afford to do it because some people may want to try to prove themselves.
mm-hmm,
Let's say the son of a CEO who has
mm.
been given a specific role, um, who may say, "Oh," and I don't know how many of them that are actually out there like that, or how many of them that you have actually coached, because I feel like some people may have that. Some people may have that. When I think about this, I think about an old movie, which a lot of people may be too young to to really remember it. But do you remember the movie Car Wash?
Yes.
Now, you
Yes.
remember the owner of the car wash. He wanted his son to work there, but his son could have been working in the office with him owning it.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't want to do that. He wanted to go out and work with the actual guys that were
That
doing
washed the
car
car.
wash.
Yes.
And so I don't know what made me think about that. I think I just showed my age. But he had the actual privilege and luxury of not having to
Do that.
be in the hustle culture, but he chose
Mm-hmm.
to say, this is what I want to do,
Mm-hmm.
to prove my worth. Like, I don't even know how you speak to that. Or would a person that would do that, would they necessarily come to you for coaching? Like, I don't think they would, but
They
because
probably wouldn't.
they
Yeah,
probably wouldn't think they would need it.
probably not. I think in a situation like that, it sounds like, if we go on the premise of that movie,
Right.
and that energy, because again, we're talking about the energy of motivation.
Hmm.
If you're very clear about where you want to be
Right.
and where you want to work or be productive, right? Like because the operative word you have was choice. If you're choosing that I can work in the office, I can work white collar versus blue collar.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But even though you have the ability to work white collar, you're choosing to work blue collar. It's a choice,
Right, right.
right? And again, we're talking about the energy and motivation. And we're talking about situation. In a situation like that, it may not be a hustle. I can't remember. Well, I do remember that the movie didn't necessarily say like he was working 20-hour weeks or 20-hour days,
Right,
right?
right.
But like if you look at it from a perspective of, I know that I might work with my hands and work labor intensive 30 hours a week, but in a CEO, as the son of a CEO, and I'm working in the office, I might work 80-hour weeks.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
For that blue collar working with my hands 30 hours a week, they good, they cool. They're working smarter. They're aligning their values, their goals, their needs, their mindset with the labor and productivity that they want to be involved with.
Okay.
And so I don't necessarily think somebody would come to me for that, but I'm
Yeah.
sure that the parent of that person might want to come to me
Yes.
for that. And I just
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah. I've given them everything.
Like, why
Yeah.
did I want to do this? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. This has been a great talk this session.
It was. Thank you. And thank you for these great, amazing questions. And you got me even thinking, and I do hope that it will be helpful to other people who they're in this hustle mindset and really to understand when the hustle is working for them and when the hustle is not.
Mhm.
So thank you guys for joining in. Please make sure that you follow us, you subscribe. Let us know if there's any topics that you would like us to talk about. Leave your comments. How are you navigating hustle culture? Like, where are you? Are you one of those people I'll rest when I'm dead? Or are you one of the people I need work life harmony? Like, I would really love to hear your comments. Make sure you follow me and Coach Will. We're on LinkedIn. We're on Instagram. Feel free to follow us and visit my website, readready.com or drdawnreed.com for more information. Thank you so much, guys. Take care.